She was ready to give up, but God wasn't finished with her yet. Who was she? And how did she fall so far? Let's find out in today's episode of From the Pit to the Promise. She had been betrayed by those closest to her, lost everything that had meaning for her, and felt utterly abandoned by God Himself. She couldn't see a reason to go on. The thought of ending it all seemed like the only way out. But wait, someone was coming. Was it God or the devil? Would she be saved or damned? Her name is Anna. I'm just going to use that name because I don't know what else to call her. I don't even know if that's her real name. This story came from an anonymous source who wished to remain anonymous. So we're going to call her Anna. For Anna, life was good. At least that's what everyone around her told her. She had a loving husband who doted on her, 2 beautiful children who brought her so much joy, a house with a white picket fence, and a career that was just starting to take off. Everything seemed normal until one day her world completely fell apart. It started with small things, little cracks in the foundation that she didn't pay too much attention to at first. For example, her husband would come home late from work and smell like perfume. Each time she asked him about it, he would just make some excuse about having worked late. She tried not to think about it too much. Her husband had always been the quiet type, and she knew that he didn't even look at other women. So why would he be spending so much time with them at work? If there was any tension between them, it was quickly diffused by his promises of love and devotion. He showered her with gifts, flowers, jewelry, anything to get her to forget about the small problem they were having. But then the big blow came when her husband was offered a promotion that required him to transfer to another city. She was devastated, torn between her love for her husband and her deep ties to her family and friends. In the end, she agreed to move, thinking that this would be a great opportunity for both of them. But she could never have guessed the disaster that awaited her in their new home. The move drained their finances, and they had to sell most of their belongings to afford the relocation. Her husband found a job right away, but it took her months to find a position that matched her qualifications. Meanwhile, her kids had to change schools, and she knew how much it hurt them. Throughout the ordeal, her husband remained distant, focusing on his work and rarely offering any support or comfort to her. She felt isolated and lonely in the new city, missing her old life and wondering if she had made the right decision. As the weeks turned into months, the distance between her and her husband only grew wider. It seemed as if they were living parallel lives under the same roof, sharing the same space, but never truly connecting. Her husband became more distant and secretive, often working late hours and keeping his phone on silent. She couldn't help but wonder if he was cheating on her again, if their marriage was doomed from the start. Then the walls started to close in. Her in-laws began to criticize her parenting style, finding fault with every choice she made. They were always around, offering unsolicited advice and making her feel incompetent. And no matter how hard she tried, she couldn't seem to do anything right. It got so bad that she started having panic attacks, feeling trapped and helpless in her own home. And that's when her husband finally snapped. One night he came home drunk and started yelling at her, accusing her of being lazy and useless. He said things that cut deep, things that made her question her worth. She cried herself to sleep that night, feeling utterly alone and abandoned. In the morning, she decided enough was enough. She packed a bag with some essentials and left. She didn't know where she was going, but she knew she couldn't stay in that toxic environment any longer. As she walked away from her husband's house, she felt a sense of relief, like a weight had been lifted off her shoulders. For the first time in years, she was free. She rented a small apartment and started seeing a therapist to help her cope with the trauma of her past. Slowly but surely, she began to heal. She started going to church again, praying for strength and guidance. She reached out to her old friends, reconnecting with those who had always been there for her. With their love and support, she was able to pick up the pieces of her life and start over. But she could never have imagined the twist that was still to come. One day, while browsing the internet, She came across an article about her husband's company. It was a scandalous exposé, revealing the company's shady dealings and unethical practices. What made it worse was that her husband was named as one of the key players involved. The article painted him as a manipulative and greedy executive willing to do whatever it took to get ahead. She was shocked and disgusted. The man she had loved and trusted had been living a double life, deceiving her and everyone around him. It was a betrayal that cut deep, a wound that refused to heal. But amidst the scandal, there was a glimmer of hope. The article mentioned that several employees were coming forward with evidence of wrongdoing, ready to expose the truth. It gave her an idea. She reached out to the journalist who had written the article and offered her own story, detailing the abuse and manipulation she had endured at the hands of her husband. The journalist was intrigued and agreed to include her story in a follow-up piece. Soon, Anna's story became part of a larger movement, a wave of women coming forward to share their experiences with her husband. Together, they brought him down, exposing his lies and holding him accountable for his actions. He lost his job, his reputation, and ultimately his freedom. As the scandal unfolded, she felt a sense of justice, knowing that he would finally face the consequences of his behavior. But it was bittersweet. She couldn't help but wonder if it was too late, if she had wasted too much time trying to save a marriage that was beyond repair. Yet amidst the wreckage of her broken marriage, she found something unexpected, a new sense of self-worth, a newfound strength. She realized that she didn't need a man to complete her, that she was enough all along. With the support of her friends and the healing power of time, she was able to forgive herself for staying in the relationship for as long as she did. She understood that she had loved a monster, a man who hid his true face behind a mask of charm and charisma. As she moved on with her life, she carried with her the scars of her past, but also the wisdom and strength that came from overcoming adversity. She knew that she would never forget what she had endured, but she also knew that she was stronger because of it. There are many lessons we can learn from Anna's story. First, we must be cautious when dealing with individuals who exhibit manipulative and controlling tendencies. Oftentimes, these individuals are skilled at hiding their true intentions, masquerading as charming and charismatic partners. However, once they have you trapped in their web, they reveal their true colors, exploiting and abusing those around them. Second, it's crucial to recognize the warning signs of an unhealthy relationship. When your partner exhibits behaviors such as jealousy, possessiveness, and isolation, it's essential to take notice and prioritize your well-being. These red flags indicate a toxic dynamic that can have detrimental effects on your mental and emotional health. Don't ignore these signs in the hopes that things will improve. Instead, seek help and support from trusted friends, family members, or professionals. Third, never underestimate the importance of seeking professional help. Therapists and counselors are trained to identify manipulative tactics and can provide guidance on how to navigate challenging relationships. They can offer coping mechanisms, stress management techniques, and strategies to rebuild your self-esteem. Remember that reaching out for help is a sign of strength, not weakness. Fourth, prioritize your own well-being. Your physical and mental health should always come first. Don't be afraid to set boundaries and communicate your needs assertively. By taking care of yourself, you build the strength and resilience to handle any challenges that may arise. Finally, remember that you are not alone. Reach out to friends, family, and support groups for help and understanding. Sharing your experiences can be incredibly therapeutic and can help break the stigma surrounding abusive relationships. There is power in numbers, and together you can find the strength to overcome these challenges. So if you or someone you know is experiencing emotional abuse, please reach out for help. Remember that you deserve to be treated with respect and dignity. There is hope for healing and a brighter future. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe for more daily devotional videos. Thank you for watching. 3 years earlier, before the hope, Before the healing, there was the fall. I've been married for 3 years, and my whole world revolved around my husband, or so I thought. My days consisted of caring for our 2 children, taking care of the house, and pleasing my husband any chance I got. He would come home from work and demand food and sex. If he didn't get it right away, he would become agitated and violent. And sometimes I was too afraid to even move. That's what it took for me to realize that I was in an abusive marriage. It all started when my daughter was born. My son was 2 at the time, and my husband would tell me, "You're only good for one thing, which is cleaning the house and taking care of the baby." I remember going to his parents' house for help. Instead, they told me to go back and be the woman my husband wanted me to be. If you can't take care of yourself, how are you going to take care of another human being? And then, I came back home with even more resentment towards myself. I decided to quit working because I needed to focus on myself and finding a new job. But when my husband found out, he threatened to take away my car keys so I wouldn't leave the house. I tried to stand up to him, but he pushed me down and said, "You don't have a job and you're not going anywhere." At that moment, I realized I had to escape. I took the kids and I moved in with my friend for a couple of months until I could find a place of my own. But little by little, the weight of the situation overwhelmed me and I became deep in depression. Some days I would lock myself in the bathroom crying, wishing this nightmare would end. One night I wrote a note saying goodbye to my kids and to God. I left the note on the kitchen counter and drank a bottle of pills. I wanted to go to sleep and never wake up again. My friend found me and rushed me to the hospital, but thankfully I woke up with an IV hooked into my arm. I looked next to me and saw my mom holding my hand. She was crying. "How could you do this, Anna? You almost left us forever." I responded, "I don't know." All I remember after that was my mom screaming, "Wake up, Anna! Don't you have kids waiting for you?" As she slapped me across my face, I remained silent. I did not want to live anymore. When I got back home, I went straight to my room and laid down on my bed. For 20 days, I stayed in bed without moving. I ate through my mom, who would bring me food and change my sheets. My kids would walk in and ask, "Mommy, why don't you play with me?" And I would respond, "Not now." Then they would walk out and I would cry. I felt their pain, but I couldn't explain to them why I was in so much pain. I felt empty inside. I couldn't pray, meditate, or read the Bible. God seemed so far away. Why would He allow this to happen to me? I thought maybe if I prayed hard enough, I would feel better. So I prayed, "God, please make me feel your presence." And immediately I heard a voice, "Anna, I am with you." I opened my eyes and looked around, but no one was there. I thought maybe I was imagining things, so I closed my eyes again and asked, "Are you real?" The voice responded, "Yes, I am real. I am Jesus. Who do you think? What do you want from me?" "Follow me." "Okay," I replied. And then I felt a warm embrace surround me. It was as if I was wrapped in a blanket made of pure love. It was so comforting and peaceful. I felt the need to express my feelings and the tears began to flow. I cried out, "Why did you let this happen to me? Why did you allow this man to hurt me like that?" Immediately, a big wave of strength surged through me. In a split second, I went from feeling weak and hopeless to empowered and full of faith. It was as if someone had flipped a switch within me, transforming my entire perspective. The pain and trauma I had endured suddenly seemed insignificant compared to the overwhelming feeling of God's presence. I knew in my heart that nothing, absolutely nothing, could shake the newfound strength and unshakable belief in God that had taken root within me. At that moment, I understood that God was by my side. He was holding me and telling me, "Don't worry, child. Everything will be okay. I am with you and you will rise above this." I walked out of my room and found my kids playing. I knelt down and hugged them. I whispered to them, "My loves, Mommy is sorry. Mommy will try to be a better person." And then we all went to the kitchen to pray together. After that day, I began to heal, and I knew I had to start over. 6 months later, I found a one-bedroom apartment, and I was finally starting to feel happy again. One day, while I was watching TV, I heard a knock on the door. I opened it, and there was this lady holding a Bible. She introduced herself as Sarah and said, "Hello, I'm your new neighbor from downstairs. I brought you some cookies." "Oh, thank you. Come in." We talked for hours about God and His promises. When it was time for her to go, she said, "Hey, Anna, do you know Jesus?" "Of course. He's my Lord and Savior." "Well, He has a message for you." She closed her eyes and began to speak. "Jesus says, 'My daughter, I know what you are going through, and I want you to know that I am proud of you. You are strong, beautiful, and a good mother. Never forget that I love you very much. And this is His last word for you. Don't ever, ever give up." I couldn't believe what I was hearing. Could this really be from God? The next day I went to church for the first time. I walked in and everyone stared at me. I felt uncomfortable. When the service started, the pastor spoke about having faith in God. He told us to close our eyes and raise our hands if we believed that God would take care of us. I raised my hand timidly. Then I heard a voice. "Anna, do you trust me?" "Yes, Lord," I whispered. And then I felt a surge of confidence and I shouted, "Yes, God, I trust you completely." Everyone turned to look at me. The pastor approached me and asked, "Can I pray for you?" "Yes, please," I replied. He placed his hands on my head and prayed. "God, we thank you for sending your Son Jesus to die for our sins. Thank you for giving us the Holy Spirit to guide us and comfort us. We ask that you bless Anna and give her the strength she needs to keep moving forward. In Jesus' name, amen." After the service, many people congratulated me. They called me a hero for sharing my testimony, but I felt shy. Still, I knew that God had a purpose for me. Maybe He saved me for a reason. 3 weeks later, I went back to my family's house. My dad greeted me at the door and said, "I want to apologize for what happened to you. We should have protected you." I replied, "It's okay. What happened to me doesn't matter anymore. I know God has a plan for me and my life will only get better from here on out." One day I met a handsome man named John. He worked for an organization that helps women who have gone through difficult situations. He invited me to a support group where I could share my story and encourage other women. At first, I was hesitant, but then I thought, maybe God wants me to use my experience to help others. That day, I shared my testimony with over 20 women and girls. After I finished, one of them stood up and said, "I'm so glad you shared your story. I'm going through a similar situation and it gives me hope that I can get through this too." "You can do it," I replied. "God is with you." And that's when I realized that my healing had just begun. From broken to becoming a blessing. Here's part 2 of Anna's story. Number 5, the healing process. The first few weeks at the rehab were tough. There were moments when she felt like giving up. It was during this time that God really showed her what He was made of. When she got there, they started with detox. It was a long and difficult process because of how severe her case was. She experienced pain and agony for a week while her body got rid of all the toxins. But through it all, she held on to hope. One thing that helped her keep going was the thought of reuniting with her son. Thinking about his precious face gave her strength. And even though it was hard, she pushed through it because she wanted to be a good mother. She had so much love and adoration for her baby boy. She didn't want to let him down. After detox, she went into therapy. Every day she would open up more and more, sharing her story with the people who were ready to listen and help. It was so therapeutic to finally feel like she could express herself without fear. No one judged her. They only offered compassion and understanding. In the group sessions, she heard other women's stories. Some of their experiences were similar to hers, while others were completely different. Despite their differences, they all had one thing in common: a desire to heal. Listening to these women made Anna realize she wasn't alone in her struggles. She saw that many others had gone through similar experiences and were working hard to get better. This realization gave her hope that she could overcome her addiction too. She began to see that healing was possible. Another thing that helped her was the daily Bible readings. At first, reading the Bible seemed like just another activity, but soon she realized that the words in those pages were actually meant for her. That's when she discovered the promise she clung on to every day. "My son, give me your heart, and your eyes will delight in my ways." This verse from Psalm 37:31 became her favorite. She read and reread it until she committed it to memory. Now, whenever she faced challenges or felt like quitting, she recited this verse. It reminded her of God's unconditional love and gave her strength to keep moving forward. As she continued reading the Bible, she found more promises that brought her comfort and hope. For instance, Isaiah 40:31 reassured her that God would give her renewed strength. She embraced these verses as her own, finding solace in their message of unwavering love and support. These daily readings weren't just a routine for her. They were a lifeline connecting her to divine strength and paving her way toward recovery. But as the days passed, her progress wasn't always smooth. There were times when she felt like taking a step back. Sometimes she struggled with relapses, and when that happened, she felt terrible. Her self-esteem took a hit, and she questioned whether she could ever truly change. Doubts crept into her mind, whispering that she wasn't worthy of the effort. Moments like these were tough, but Anna knew she couldn't give up. She had come too far and had people depending on her, her son, her family, and the friends who believed in her. With each setback, she reminded herself that failure wasn't an option. She had to keep going no matter what. So with newfound determination, she confronted these moments head-on, determined not to let them define her journey. Instead, she used them as stepping stones, learning from the challenges and growing stronger with each step. Through it all, she held on to the belief that she deserved happiness and that her struggles were only temporary. Finally, the day came when she was ready to take the next big step in her recovery, leaving the rehab center and returning home. However, this transition wasn't just about personal growth for Anna. It marked a significant turning point where she was ready to share her experiences and support others facing similar challenges. Number 6, a mission born from pain. When Anna returned home, she knew she wasn't just starting a new chapter for herself, but also for many other women who were still battling similar demons. And so a wonderful idea was born. She created a support group called Women of Strength. Its main purpose was to help ladies who were struggling with the same problems she had faced. She wanted to be a guiding light for them, showing them that healing and a fulfilling life were possible. The group became a safe haven where women felt comfortable sharing their stories, fears, and dreams without shame. Anna created a welcoming atmosphere where everyone was treated with kindness and respect. She understood firsthand the struggles they were facing because she had walked that path herself. Every week, members of the group gathered together. During their meetings, they discussed various topics related to healing and recovery. They talked about setting healthy boundaries, building self-esteem, and developing effective coping mechanisms. By openly discussing their challenges and victories, the women in the group supported each other, knowing that they were not alone in their battles. The impact of the group was profound. As the women shared their experiences, they realized that they were stronger than they thought. They discovered that they had the power to overcome their past and create a brighter future. Through weekly discussions, they learned valuable skills to manage their emotions and build healthier relationships. Seeing the positive transformations in the group inspired Anna. She witnessed these amazing changes in these ladies, and it filled her with a deep sense of accomplishment and purpose. It was so rewarding to know that she had played a part in their healing journey. Their gratitude and progress fueled her passion to continue helping others. As months went by, the group grew, and with it, so did Anna's influence. More and more women were drawn to the supportive community she had created, seeking solace and guidance on their own paths to recovery. Anna's story didn't end with her healing. It continued with a calling. The pain she had endured became the catalyst for a mission that touched countless lives. She became a vessel of healing, pouring her strength and wisdom into others who were still fighting their battles. Her journey was a testament to the transformative power of the human spirit, showing that even in the darkest moments, hope and healing can prevail. And as we close this chapter of Anna's story, we're reminded that the journey from brokenness to wholeness is a remarkable one. It's a path filled with challenges and triumphs, but ultimately leads to a place of healing and empowerment. Anna's story inspires us to keep going, to hold on to hope, and to believe in the possibility of transformation. Remember, no matter how difficult the journey may seem, healing is possible. You are stronger than your struggles, and you have the power to create a brighter future for yourself. Don't give up. Keep moving forward, and never lose sight of the hope that awaits you. If you found inspiration in Anna's story, please don't hesitate to share it with someone who might need to hear it. Your act of kindness could be the light that someone else needs on their own journey. Thank you for joining us today. We've been blessed by your presence. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to subscribe so you won't miss any of our upcoming episodes. If you'd like to share your thoughts or have a suggestion for future episodes, please leave a comment below. We love hearing from you. Until next time, may God bless you and keep you. Remember, you are stronger than you think, and healing is possible. There once was a girl who had a dream of singing and dancing across the world, touching hearts with her songs and making an eternal impact through her music. Yet reality was cruel, a harsh contrast to her aspirations. Born into a deeply religious home, she was forbidden from singing or even playing an instrument. But dreams have a way of persisting, don't they? And hers was no different. Even when she was married and raising children, the melody of her dream never faded. Then something incredible happened. When she stepped into the church to lead worship for the first time, she felt the presence of angels guiding her every step. The years that followed were a testament to that moment. She became a renowned singer, her music echoing in churches around the world, her albums going multi-platinum. This is her story. Welcome back to our channel where faith meets inspiration. Today we're diving into the remarkable journey of Ana Paula Valadares, a name synonymous with contemporary Christian music in Brazil. If you're ready to be inspired, hit that like button, subscribe, and let's embark on this incredible journey together. Number 1. The early years. Our story begins in the vibrant streets of São Paulo, Brazil, where Ana Paula was born on August 27, 1974. Her childhood was a beautiful blend of faith and music. You see, both her parents were pastors, and the house was always filled with gospel music. It wasn't just music, it was a lifestyle. Her father, Erivaldo, led a church in the working-class neighborhood of Heliopolis, while her mother, Sueli, dedicated herself to being a pastor's wife. Little Anna grew up in the heart of this spiritual environment, soaking in the melodies of faith and the teachings of the church. It was during these early years that the seeds of her calling were sown, nurtured by the love and devotion of her parents. However, life had a twist in store that would test her faith and reshape her dreams. Number 2. The unexpected twist. At the age of 14, Ana Paula's life took an unexpected turn when her parents decided to part ways. The family home echoed with the pain of separation, and young Ana found herself caught in the whirlwind of it all. Her brother migrated to the United States while she stayed in Brazil with her mother. In the midst of this upheaval, Ana turned to music as a solace, pouring her heart out through song. She began attending youth meetings and singing at small gatherings, each performance a step closer to discovering her true potential. These were not just casual performances. They were moments of raw emotion, of a young girl expressing the turmoil within and finding comfort in the power of music. It was during this time that her passion for singing started to take shape, a passion that would later explode onto the world stage. 3. The influence of youth ministry. As Ana Paula navigated the complexities of adolescence, she found a guiding light in the youth ministry of the church. Here, she didn't just find support, she found her voice. Under the mentorship of Pastor Jefferson and Silvana de Oliveira, she flourished. Her talent was recognized and nurtured, her confidence grew, and her musical abilities were honed. The church became her sanctuary, the youth ministry her second home, and her mentors, the parents she found in her time of need. Looking back, it's clear that this was more than just a chapter in her life. It was a foundation upon which her future stardom was built. 4. The Calling. Now, you might wonder about the title of this section, The Calling. It wasn't just a random choice. It represents a pivotal moment in Ana Paula's life when she truly realized her purpose. This wasn't the typical calling you might imagine. There was no dramatic moment of revelation, no booming voice from the heavens. It was a gradual awakening, a realization that came to her through the whispers of her heart and the melodies in her soul. It was during a Sunday worship service that this realization dawned on her. Imagine the scene. The church is filled with the voices of worshipers, the air thick with anticipation and the presence of the divine. Suddenly, amidst the soaring hymns, Ana Paula feels a stirring within her, a calling so profound that it reshaped her destiny. She wasn't just there as a member of the congregation. She was being called to the front not to speak, not to pray, but to sing. It was a moment that transcended the ordinary. In that very instant, she knew her life would never be the same. The applause of the congregation was her first taste of success, a sweet recognition of the gift she had to offer. But her journey was just beginning. Number 5. Breaking barriers. Ana Paula's journey was not without its hurdles. Despite her burgeoning talent and the supportive environment of the church, she faced resistance outside those hallowed walls. The world she stepped into after church was often skeptical, sometimes even judgmental. There was a societal pressure, a prejudice against contemporary Christian music. Yet Ana Paula, armed with her faith and fueled by her passion, refused to be deterred. Every performance became a battle, not just for acceptance, but for breaking down barriers. With each song she sang, she chipped away at the stereotypes, proving that faith and good music were not mutually exclusive. Her voice became her weapon of choice, her songs the ammunition. And the more she performed, the wider the acceptance grew. This was not just about singing, it was about paving the way, showing that Christian artists could make good music that resonated with people from all walks of life. Number 6. Touching hearts worldwide. As the years rolled by, Ana Paula's music began to touch hearts far beyond the walls of the church. Her melodies resonated with people from all backgrounds, transcending religious boundaries. Her songs became anthems for the brokenhearted, the hopeful, and the faithful. It was as if her music carried a universal language that everyone understood. People from different cultures, speaking different languages, found solace in her music. Whether in Brazil or on international stages, her voice had a way of connecting with audiences on a deep emotional level. It was a testament to the power of her voice and the sincerity of her music. In a world often divided by differences, Ana Paula's music was a bridge, bringing people together through the common language of emotions. Her rise to fame was nothing short of meteoric. Albums went multi-platinum, selling millions of copies worldwide. Awards lined up, each one a testament to her exceptional talent. But amidst the glitter and the glory, she remained grounded, her feet firmly planted in the soil of her faith and her humble beginnings. Number 7. Reconciling the family. Amidst the highs of her musical career, Ana Paula's personal life took an even more beautiful turn. She met a man who shared her faith and her passion for music, Jair de Oliveira. Their love story is one that many would envy, a blend of romance, shared values, and mutual support. Their union blessed them with 3 wonderful children, Pedro, Alice, and Bettina, creating a family that was as musically inclined as it was devout. Their home, a beautiful blend of faith and music, was often filled with the joyous sounds of their children singing along to their mother's melodies. Yet even in this seemingly perfect picture, challenges arose. As Ana Paula's career took off, she found herself torn between the demands of her music and her responsibilities as a wife and a mother. The classic dilemma of balancing a successful career with family life. However, she navigated these challenges with grace, always finding a way to honor her family and her faith. Number 8. Final reflection. We come to the end of Ana Paula's incredible journey so far, a journey marked by faith, talent, and unwavering dedication. Yet as she looks back, she doesn't just reminisce. She reflects with gratitude, acknowledging the role of divine providence in every step of her success. The turning point came when she realized that everything she had achieved was not merely the result of her talent or hard work, but a manifestation of God's plan for her life. This realization brought a new depth to her music, a sincerity that resonated with millions worldwide. Her songs became more than just melodies. They were expressions of her faith, her gratitude, and her unwavering belief in God's purpose. Number 9. A message of hope. As Ana's story unfolded, she became an inspiration not just for aspiring musicians, but for anyone facing life's uncertainties. Her journey is a beacon of hope, a testament to the power of pursuing one's dreams while staying true to one's values. In an industry often fraught with temptations and challenges, she stood firm, her faith acting as her guiding light. She became a role model, demonstrating that success and faith are not mutually exclusive, that one can reach the pinnacle of achievement while staying true to their beliefs. Her message is simple yet powerful. Never give up on your dreams, no matter how big they are. Number 10. A call to subscribe. As we bring this episode to a close, we have a request. If you've been inspired by Ana's story, we invite you to subscribe to our channel. Share this episode with your friends and let her journey of faith and success continue to inspire you. Remember, in the words of Ana, if God did this for Ana, He can do it for you. So keep believing, keep dreaming, and keep your hearts open to the possibilities that await you. And if you thought this story was powerful, wait until you hear the next one.